welcome to the 2019 Creative Conference stage, Bill Miller.
Check, check, check. I could never fit into your world anyway. Hello, check, check. Got it? Make sure the guitar's working. You got that check? Oh, you got to put it in here? Sorry. I've got 29 minutes and 7 seconds. You need a draw, Bill. I got a screen here. Yeah, help. You guys aren't done yet. I would be 2 hours late. And I would stay for 2 hours. Make sure this thing's working. Nothing? I want a refund. So thanks for coming today. I'm trying to this. I'm on tour right now. I'm going back to Fish Creek, Wisconsin, which is in Sturgeon Bay, north of Green Bay, check. That's good. Checking 1, 2. Bring the guitar and the vocal bolt up. I'm going to go to the board when I get back. Just a little bit. Did she do it? Oh, she's in charge of the board. Can you bring the mixing board up? That's great. My vocal up a hair? Yep. Perfect, perfect. That's good. All right. Now I can start talking to people. Break the guitar back. Hey. So let me give you a brief. When I meet a stranger, I don't give them a history myself, really, but I think that I don't think you're strangers. I believe that everybody here is of a creative brotherhood and sisterhood in here. So I want to tell you where I come from because it does make a difference in the paint that I use and the colors I use when I paint and when I sing, when I write songs. It has made a difference of the people I've toured with, and some of the people that I've toured with are from out in this area. My first big tour was with, a lot of different people. Was with Richie Havens, Arlo Guthrie, and then a lot of different folk artists that I worked with through the years. But the big call came from Pearl Jam in the 90s. And I went out and met Eddie and the band, and incredible musicians as well as people. And Tori Amos called me, and we played one of our first gigs here, first in Seattle, then in Portland. On the Under the Pink tour, it was 285 days. But she picked me because of my color. I'm not saying Native, because there's race issues going on, but I have to tell you this, I'm not involved with it. I'm of the human race, and I will remain a human being for the rest of my life. I'm not gonna, I will stand up for my people and for people of color, but I'm just saying, if we can't stand under the fire on our own 2 feet and stand up for dignity against mankind and show that person, the KKK or the Posse Comitatus or the hate people I've had to deal with in Wisconsin and in the South where I live now, if we can't stand up to that, then something's wrong. I don't need 65,000 people marching with me. I'm gonna walk into this place. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't need. Is there any? Do you have my paintings at all? You writing this? He's busy. Is there somebody that can? The slide? Who's on the slides? Man, those things are blowing too much. Keep it going. They're too close. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. These are all pastels. Keep going. Keep going. That's it. There's a painting I want to show you. Keep going. Next one. Next painting.
We just had the 4.
I didn't send the one of my son. It's a detailed, almost photographic. It's totally different medium. There's another big blue one. No? Dang it. Well, anyways, it's a great painting. Recently sold it to Billy Ray Cyrus. You can cut the paintings off. I don't need them either. Just cut them off. I don't need them. The way I deal with life and have dealt with life is through art. The way I deal with trauma, all trauma now is with art, with music, with dance, with prayer. And I still do to this day. That painting I was going to show you is, it's not of my son, but it was for my son after he was killed 3 years ago. Very creative young man. And he came to me in a dream and said, "Dad, will you paint me a warrior?" And I spent 6 months on it. It's an extremely detailed painting, 6 feet tall. I wish you could have seen it, but I didn't ever want to sell it, okay? I really kept it with me. And I get a call August 5th from a guy named Billy Ray Cyrus. He says, "Hey, Bill." That's Billy Ray Cyrus, man. I go, "What the hell?" I met Billy Ray like 15, 16 years ago, and recently he had broken all the charts, 19 weeks, #1 song. Gonna take my horse down the old town road, gonna ride till I can't no more. And he told me the story of this young black rapper who called him from Atlanta, and they got together and helped him out, and they made the hottest song in the charts in decades. 19 weeks at #1 in the black charts, 2 black charts, and then pop. He pitched it to country, and country didn't want the song, said it's too black. So Billy Ray said, "Can you come and help me deal with this crap? Nashville freaking hates me." I said, "You know what? They don't like me either." It's okay. So we prayed together, we stayed together, we healed together. He just lost his father. I lost my son. He knew my son. And he said, "I saw your painting online. Can I buy it?" And for the right person, I felt I should sell it. And it's the way I connect with my art. So I want to encourage you that your art is more than just sales or fame, awards. If it isn't in you, ingrained in you, if it isn't collected as a gift from your creator, then I think you're in the wrong business. You need to go somewhere else where you don't have to connect your spirit to the canvas, where you don't have to connect your spirit to the strings, where you don't have to represent your heritage through your art. Then you need to go somewhere else, maybe represent it somewhere else. But for me, it was that way. I have a friend who just spent time with me. He's a 6th degree black belt, and he's also a philosopher and an incredible, deep man of prayer in Nashville. And I just got out of hospital. I'm having a hard time walking because I had blood clots through my leg, and it flatlined me in April. And I basically would not be here if it weren't for a lot of prayer. When my manager put my so-called dying, Bill Miller's dying right now, I had 2.5 million people praying for me around the world. So I don't think it's a fable, because what I do is in the power and the ability of being spirit-led and spirit-moved. So I want my spirit to touch you. I've heard some incredible talks today. I want to tell you a short bit about my childhood, and then I want to go right into helping you, give you some tools to be successful as you. That's where it starts. I didn't win 3 Grammys because I was an anxiety-ridden, suicide-ridden, alcoholic Indian. You understand what I'm saying? I didn't win them in that state of mind. I didn't tour 10,000 dates, which I have done in my lifetime, 10,000 shows, drunk, depressed, suicidal. I didn't get up on the stage with Pearl Jam in that state of mind. I got up as strong as I could be. That's my choice. You have a choice too, and I want to make it known that, yes, I am a Native American. I do fight for my people's rights. You know, there's not many of us here in the United States. There's probably 5.2 million American Indians in the United States. Did you know that? It's not many. There's almost 562 federally recognized tribes in the United States. Anybody know what the most populated state of American Indians there is in the United States? Anybody? What would you guess? Just yell. Arizona? Oklahoma? New Mexico?
South Dakota.
No, they're all wrong.
California.
Guess what the most populated states with more than 100 tribes in? California. Then comes Arizona, Oklahoma, and New Mexico. And then comes the Midwest, where I live, where there's 60,000 Indians in Wisconsin, 9 tribes. So let's go back to the old Indian days. When I was touring with Tori Amos, I remember I was in, I think it was Seattle. And, or actually it was on the East Coast. This makes sense now that I remember this. But I was dressed similar. I was getting ready to go to my hotel and go back to the stage and do a sound check that afternoon. And I was in the elevator with about 6 CEO types with their computers and their little freaking outfits from hell. They're standing next to me, and what a crazy, I don't get on the elevator and look at white people or any other race like this. Like, they were doing that to me. It's like, what the, looking at me, not saying a word, holding their computers to the chest, you know. And so I kind of got tired of it, so we were getting close to the next drop-off point. I was going up, and I said, in a real low voice, I said, "It's a good day to die."
Yeah.
Those guys jumped off the next floor. They were all left, like, oh no. Jeez. The reality of that statement, that Hollywood has used that stuff. Hollywood has given so many, although they're great people like the last speaker that involved Hollywood representing Africa in this, but the Indians got bad rap. And I was born in the BC period, before casinos.
Yeah.
And before Costner. So Dances with Wolves was my favorite movie. It was like, you gotta be kidding me. This white man's got a better vision than us. He's leading us. Give me a break. But so Hollywood has done some damage to our people, but I've learned how to live from you, and I want to thank you. Learn how to live through you. My dad, full blood, incredible looking man, muscular, a champion army boxer in Europe. He was a ranger in the Korean War, decorated veteran. He went to prison because he almost killed a guy, not a Korean, but an army soldier who he was messing around with the guy's wife, and he beat the crap out of the guy when the guy fought my dad. My dad beat him, and they put him in prison for 2 years. My dad then came back to the United States. We were there. My mom was pregnant because we lived in Italy with my father. And he came back. I learned this from my mother 4 years ago. My mother passed away on the reservation. My dad died in 1993 of alcoholism. My dad was a severe alcoholic and became severely sexually abusive to my sisters and to me, and beat me. But before he beat me, I was the first out of 9 kids to be beaten. He grabbed my mother. My mother told me, because I asked my mom, what was it like when I was born January 23rd? And I'm not going to tell you the year I was born, but it was a long time ago. She goes, "Billy, I don't know if I want to tell you." I said, "Mom, please tell me." She said, "It was terrible." I said, "What was so terrible?" She said, "Your dad came back from prison, he came to visit me, and he screamed at me, he said, 'You're pregnant, you've got another child inside you.'" She goes, "No, I would never cheat on you." He said, "I want to kill that baby." And he broke my mother's jaw, and he punched me out. Basically, my mom had me reach, forceps, and I was pulled out, premature baby. I'm alive. But the first thing I felt from my father was a fist. For many years, he abused me, and I caught him molesting my sister. And my sisters probably don't want to hear this, and I don't want to mention names, I think, but it really happened. And some people said this is harsh to say. Why is it harsh for an artist to speak to artists about their true reality? But it happened. I caught my dad. I was 16. He'd already been beating my mother for many years. And for the next year and a half, he tortured me and beat me and said, don't ever tell anybody what you saw. Well, through all of that, I've found you. I found a Norwegian family in northern Wisconsin, let me work on their farm. I found a Norwegian family at the University of Wisconsin La Crosse that helped me with my dorm costs, and they fed me, clothed me. I met an Italian family that gave me some jobs. I met Greeks. I met African Americans who loved me. And I hate to say it, but the only Indians I knew were my cousins or certain people who were pulling me down in the damn ditch. And I had to get up and walk on my own. And when I did, music was there, art was there. I was winning art awards as a young kid. And I got a full scholarship through a German man, Mr. Schmidt, from Shawnee, Wisconsin. And he told me 4 words that have lifted me to the Grammys, have lifted me to even be in front of you. The same words my mom told me as she left this earth. The same words Mark Knopfler from Dire Straits told me when I spent 2 days with him. They're the only people in my life that have said this to me. These are the 4 words I heard. I believe in you. I believe in you. Have anybody ever said that to you? Good God, I needed that. I needed to be encouraged. When I was trying my hardest to do my best and I had just become successful, everything fell apart. I just won my 3rd Grammy. I was in LA, it was a big party, it was incredible, incredible. I was with a lot of my musical friends, and then my ex-wife decides to tell me she didn't love me. Never did. And we went through an ugly divorce. I hate divorce. So that happened right after I got home from the Grammys. I put the Grammys in a cardboard box. I haven't looked at them very much. A few years later, my mother died. Buried her. I went into deep depression. Next year, my son was killed. I went deeper. 9 months later, my son's wife was raped and kidnapped. She lived through it. 6 months later, I had a heart attack. My friend came up to me and he said, Bill, you know who you are? I said, I don't feel anything anymore, George. He said, you're a storm. You're a storm within a storm. And he who made the storm is within you. And I have never turned back. I want to be here to encourage you. I want to press you. But artists need to see the real color of a canvas. If I'm using black, dark black, or raw, burnt umber, or whatever I'm using, I'm going to tell you that's how I made that color. That's what happened. That's how it became. These are pastels, and I just, like I said, I wish you could see the painting that I did for my son. Please walk your way through things with your spirit leading, okay? On an eagle, I've been in many ceremonies on the reservation that I grew up. One of them, I held a real eagle. It was a full bald eagle, and it was dead. And they pass out feathers to certain people, and I've received feathers. I don't know if you knew this, but the Creator made an eagle with exactly 12 tail feathers. He also made a hawk with 12 tail feathers, and an owl, 12 tail feathers. So I'm working on a book. I've been doing it for years, but everybody keeps dying on me. So I got to live. I even died in that process. And I'm back full gear. Billy Ray Cyrus wants to. Yes. Wants to write with me and record an album and do a tour reservation road. He's a big fan of mine. Then last night I talked with another fan of mine, I'm a fan of his, it's Zach from Portugal, the man, and we're going to do a project together too. You know. before I do a song for you and end this up, I want to give you the 12 feathers of healing in my life that have taken and changed my life. These 12 feathers have taken me to places that I would have never been if I wouldn't have been disciplined enough to follow these ways. The first feather, depth, depth, deep. Deep cries on the deep. You got to get out of the kiddie pool. You just got to go into the deeper parts. Depth, go deep. Second feather, vision. You got to clear your eyes of anything that's cloudy, and you got to see the clear blue skies. You got to see the river. You got to see the birds. You got to see the streets. You got to see somebody's eyes. You have to have a vision for yourself. If you have to seek it, then go seek it. But if you don't have a vision, you're going to wander the rest of your life. Vision, the next feather. Third feather, hope. I was given hope when somebody said, I believe in you. Find hope, and hope in yourself. Hope. Fourth feather, prayer. I meditate and pray every day, every hour, every minute when I can. That just keeps my spirit alive. It's like feeding a fire. Spirit, I'm spirit-led, I'm not flesh-led. Not if I was flesh-led, I'd be a Corvette, would buy a new Corvette, and oh my God, you know, some good-looking woman, oh my God, no, not really good. It's what it is. It changes men and women. They're you can tell a disciplined warrior that won't turn them, or it shouldn't. So discipline yourself in the spirit. And then the next feather is discipline. That in order to become a master painter, a master musician, and to do what you're doing, you have to be disciplined. It's not random stuff that I'm doing. I'm not being random about that. I'm being disciplined to get up and practice every day, to get up and paint every day, to get up and observe. The next one is humility. Humility is powerful because I'm humbled by everybody I stood at the Grammys. Continual humility is powerful. Thankfulness, be thankful for all things. Knowledge, take everything you've observed in life and interpret it as knowledge and take it in. The 10th feather is transformation. You will be transformed. You need to look forward. You need to see yourself transforming in the mirror. Spend some time watching yourself grow. 11th being victory, to celebrate victory for once in your life rather than always a victim mentality. And the 12th feather is blessing. Blessing is the greatest feather I can have because that's what I'm doing today. Hopefully I'm blessing you because my blessings are to go on to you. That's the way it should be. If I met you in the street, I would treat you the same way. I have 7 minutes, 22 seconds. I have so much to share with you, but it's hard to be so compact. So this next song I'm going to do for you is called Chasing Birds. And I wrote it for my ex-wife, actually, first, but I thought she would understand, but she didn't. She walked out of the room and she heard it, but it did break her. But what I really wrote it about was that day that I looked out the window, and I still do it. I'm an amateur ornithologist. I was in the Audubon Society in Wisconsin for many years, studying birds. And when my dad would drive up at 2 a.m. or 4 a.m. in the morning to beat my mother and come in drunk, it was depressing, it was rough, and I would fight. But the next morning I would always go by the window and pull a screen and listen for the birds and watch for birds. And I was always chasing birds, and I still am chasing birds. Just to hear their song gave me hope. It gave me my soul freedom that nothing ever does. So find that bird, find that thing that makes you turn away from toxic relationships, toxic trauma, and try your best to walk forward. We can eventually, through time, you can stop these triggers from hurting you. You need to do that. I had not cried my whole life. I'm not kidding you. I don't cry. I was a boxer like my father to fight him. But when I lost the most beautiful thing in my life, which was my son, I cried for the first time in my life. I thought, wow, is this what that's like? It's like a river. It's like letting go of stuff that I've been holding on for decades and decades. So get it out of you, get the poison out of you. And I'm going to sing the song that I just told you about, Chasing Birds, for you. And then we're going to have some time for questions. Please, I'd like to talk with you because I got some time now. And I guess there's a break and I'll do one more song then. But I want to continue to be inspiration to you I don't want to be a historian. I have a lot of knowledge about Native American lifestyles, and I've been with Native people, but I use that in me. I'm three parts: my heritage, my life experiences, and my spiritual path. That's what makes Bill Miller. Those three items. And American Indian art has got three parts too. It's got function. Everything that we have in Native country has to function, whether it's a moccasin or an arrow or anything, has to have a function for it. Then the last thing, the second thing is beauty. American Indian art, be beautified. The third thing, most important, is spirit. And that's where I will leave you, at the spirit level. And I had a British, not a British band, an Australian band next to me in Nashville for a while, and I had recorded that song that you're going to hear, Chasing Birds, and they wanted one of my CDs, and they said, "Can I have one of your CDs? I'd love to listen to your music." It's just, they go to these record stores, and I'm so frustrated. It's just that some of the music just sucks. And I said, well, here's mine. And anyways, a week later, the lead guitarist comes up and he says, "I love your album, Chronicles of Hope. My favorite song is Chasing Birds." I said, "You like Chasing Birds?" "Yeah." He says, "Do you know what that means in Australia?" What does it mean? Chasing women.
Yeah.